What is going on, guys? It's Zaz, and today I thought I would do something completely different to what I normally do. So I figured, because I'm talking about something completely different, I'll play something completely different. Today I'm actually doing the Nightfall on Destiny. Instead of playing multiplayer or whatever on COD or even Destiny, I thought I'd do something different and play some Nightfall, because I'm trying to get to 335 before the new Rise of Iron, I think. Quite honestly, I always forget what it's going to be called. Or what it is called. So the main reason I'm making this video is actually because one of my friends I was talking to the other day was asking a few questions about like the New Zealand culture and like things in general. And I was like, really, do you not know this? Because he's in Australia, so Australia and New Zealand are quite close. So he didn't really know too much, and that was surprising to me. I thought, you know, more people knew about sort of the New Zealand culture and stuff, but obviously not. So I thought, you know, I'll make a video with the things I reckon most specific and special to New Zealand culture. So like any culture in the world, New Zealand has food specific to our country or our culture. So I thought I'd start with those just because who doesn't like food? Thought I'd start with the food. So with the food, I'm going to try have an image of each sort of thing up when I'm talking about it, just so you guys know exactly what I'm talking about, and you can go try find it or whatever. Not really sure if you'll be able to get it in any other countries because it's specific to New Zealand, but I'm sure you'd be able to import it for an extremely expensive import charge. So the first item on the list is LMP. Now, to anyone else other than New Zealanders and people that have had it in New Zealand, LMP sounds disgusting, and I only just thought about it as being disgusting. LMP is short for Lemon and Pyrrol, which is where it's made, Pyrrol. It's an extremely nice lemon sort of drink. It's in the same range. I do believe Coca-Cola brought it off whoever decided to make it first. I do believe it's under the Coke brand, but it's Lemon and Pyrrol, amazing drink, and it's quite specific to New Zealand. You should not be able to run into a New Zealander who does not know what Lemon and Pyrrol is. That's most of the things on this list. Sort of, they're not a true Kiwi unless they know what it is or have at least had it or whatever. Obviously, don't hold me to that, but I do believe that most of the things on this list, especially New Zealanders, should know exactly what I'm on about. Basically, Lemon and Pyrrol is a fizzy drink. Obviously, no alcohol or anything, so to kids and stuff, if you guys want to try it, I don't know who really watches my videos, but you know, it's an option to try. I do know, like in some parts of Australia, Sydney, I do believe, you can find it at special stores for extremely expensive price, obviously, as they do. The next food on the list is Whittaker's chocolate. This is just a brand of chocolate. I'm trying to think of some American brands, but I can't because I'm not American. Whittaker's chocolate is just a brand of chocolate, and they always bring out new flavors and things. It's a really nice quality chocolate, but not so nice that you can only have a little bit, so it's nice enough you can eat a lot, which is good, I suppose. On the screen now you should be seeing a few different flavors. A lot of them will probably be the special ones. You've obviously got the normal milk and dark chocolate or whatever, but they teamed up with LMP to make an LMP chocolate. LMP's the drink from like 10 seconds ago. They basically teamed up and created this amazing chocolate, and it was the most popular. It was selling out everywhere, but basically they work with smaller businesses to create amazing products. It's happened a couple times now, and they're literally some of the best chocolate products I've ever had. The next thing on the list is pineapple lumps. This is just one of the items Pascal's makes. I do believe it's Pascal's or something along those lines. I don't need to know who makes it, I need to know where I can buy it and how much it's going to cost. But basically this is just pineapple lumps. They're sort of chewy pineapple coated in chocolate, and they are the shit. Not shit, they are the shit. Basically, that's it for the lollies on the list, sort of, or the sugary food, I should say. Not really, because the next thing we got is custard squares. Now, basically, wherever you go in New Zealand, any cafe, any bakery, they should have custard squares. Unless they're a really, really posh cafe, I suppose, then they won't. They'll have other stuff that you don't want to order. But custard squares, if you can't tell by the name, it's literally a square of custard, and then you've got like a base on the top and bottom of it, which is, you know, to sort of hold together. It's sort of thick custard, and then a lot of the time you'll have icing on it as well. You should be seeing an image. If I forget to put these images, I'm going to look really, really bad, just like I am at video games. The next thing on the list is something, if you ever come to, all of these actually you should be trying if you come to New Zealand, but if you come to New Zealand and do not try fish and chips in New Zealand, you're missing out. Fish and chips are obviously not only in New Zealand, you can get them basically anywhere you go. I've had them in the States. In New Zealand, they are the best. Fish and chips in New Zealand are literally the best in the world. Now that's my opinion, that's a whole lot of other people's opinions, but to me it's the truth, and you know, that's all that matters really. So fish and chips in New Zealand, it really doesn't matter where you go. you don't want to go somewhere fancy, you literally want to go down to the local fish and chip shop to get the real deal. So that's fish and chips. You need to try fish and chips. I thought I had to mention this. Lamb and beef in New Zealand, it's the best quality in the world. So if you come here, you need a nice lamb meal, you need a nice beef meal, but yeah, if you're vegan, and I also assume you vape, so maybe not for you. Next thing on the list is a hangi. Now this is the first sort of Māori, yes, it's pronounced Māori, not Maori. I've confirmed this with multiple people, it's Māori. I suppose if you're extremely white then you would say Maori like my grandfather, but hey, correct pronunciation is Māori. Hangi, it is basically a homemade oven pit. I don't want to get this wrong because like it's hard to explain. I know exactly what a hangi is, but it's hard to explain what it is. It's basically you dig a massive pit in the ground, put hot stones on it, light a fire, and chuck basically meals wrapped in tin foil in there, and they cook. There is nothing on this planet similar to this. It is quite hard, if you are traveling New Zealand, it's quite hard to find a place that actually does hangis because it's a traditional thing. It's for special occasions, which is awesome because then you appreciate it more when you do have it. That is sort of the list of foods that I've got down. Obviously if you're from New Zealand you'll be sitting there thinking you haven't mentioned this. Obviously I've mentioned the things that I believe are most important. Please, if I've missed, if there's any food that you know for sure that should be on this list, please comment it below. So now moving on from foods, there's a few ideas you could say that people don't fully understand or they just assume is correct because they've heard it from someone or it makes sense to them. The first one of those is all New Zealanders speak Māori. Now this is not the case, guys. This is not the case. Although Māori is taught in most schools, I'm not sure if it still is, but it used to be compulsory, as in you had to learn it at primary school or whatever. If you don't know what primary school is, it's basically from the age of 5. I'm not sure if it's still compulsory for it to be taught, but when I was there it was compulsory, and I have no regrets. I actually really enjoyed it. I ended up learning a bit more later on because it's part of my culture, so I thought, you know, I should learn more. So I did. Obviously not as much as I probably should have, but I learned some, so hey. But no, not all New Zealanders know Māori. I mean, all New Zealanders should know a little bit, but not enough for full sentence or anything. The next question I usually get is, why do I hear people calling you a Kiwi? Our native bird for New Zealand is a Kiwi. If you don't know what that is, there's probably been images through the whole video, so you should be right. It's basically a flightless bird. That's our national animal. Yes, the correct term could be New Zealander, but we also go by Kiwis. So I'm a Kiwi. Technically, if you're New Zealand born or if you're a New Zealander, you are also a Kiwi. I mean, obviously some people won't like to be called Kiwis, but hey, it's not an insult by any means at all. So, you know, if you see a New Zealander, call them a Kiwi, and they might even be impressed depending where it is. The next thing I've got on my list, I've literally got a list here saying stuff because I don't want to forget anything that's extremely important, especially like the haka, which is next on the list. If you guys don't know what the haka is, you really need to watch some rugby. We're the best in the world. So if you go watch the All Blacks play, which is our team, they do a haka, I believe, before every game. A haka is basically a war dance, and it's extremely known. A huge part of our culture is the haka. That is also taught in schools. If you go to a school in New Zealand, you should be expected to learn a haka. Usually through high school. I think I learned one at every school I've been to, apart from very early primary school, which is first level of schooling. But usually at high school is when you learn your school haka. Most high schools have a haka, but I've learned a couple. Most people should know a haka. Now that's mainly for guys. Girls do hakas, but they're different and they do it in a different way. But if you're a New Zealand guy, you should be embarrassed if you don't know haka, and that's just the truth. The next thing we've got down is a hongi. Now that's not to be confused with hangi, which is the food that I talked about before. Hongi is the best way to compare, or to sort of say what I mean, is if you say a handshake, shake hands, right? So a hongi is basically a handshake, but you put your heads together and your nose, and basically New Zealanders should know this, but a little bit more information about it. Basically, when you do this action, or whatever you want to call it, if you, in the photo you'll see it, no matter who you're doing it with, it will bring both the people's, like, their height to be equal. So if a really tall person is doing it with a really short person, I mean, it'll still work here, but it will bring their level. That's it. And basically what that is doing is showing respect, that you view each other on the same level, as in, like, you're both equals. Now, I know this because I think it's extremely important to know the fact that when you shake someone's hand, I mean, you can, if you're extremely tall, you sort of just angle it down so it's facing them. But with a hongi, it's literally you guys are on the same level, no, you're both the same height, and I think that's really, really cool. Yes, I have had to do a hongi, and if you're looking at the image, you'll be like, oh, that'd be awkward as hell. It can be, especially if you do it wrong, it can be awkward, but it's cool to have that as part of the culture, so we're different, because, you know, everyone wants to be different. That's mainly what I've got on the list. If you guys want me to go more in depth on certain things, I can do my best to. I just thought, you know, I need to make a video about, like, where I come from, because, like, I think I made a previous video on, like, where I am in the world, and, like, where I went to school and things, but I never sort of talked about my culture, so I thought, why not? Like, it's a great topic. Quite frankly, I still find it really interesting. So I thought, you know, like, other people would probably enjoy knowing a little bit more about this. So that's what I did, and that's what I'm doing now. So I hope this video doesn't go too long, because I really don't want to make it drag on. I probably already have done that, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want to know anything else about the New Zealand culture or anything, unless I've stated it in the video, there are no dumb questions. I'll just be happy if you are wanting to learn more about my culture and where I'm from. We got a really shitting granddad. But if you guys have any questions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to ask. Just let me know, and I will do my best to get back to you as soon as I can, which really shouldn't be that long, maybe a day or two max. Anyway guys, please like and comment the video. I just thought I had to make this video, but anyway guys, I'll see you later. It's been Zaz.
And here comes the